Do you have a cheese plant?
Yes, Will, I do have a cheese plant. It's right there.
Do you want another one?
That's reptile Richie.
Hi, you get to see my face. Hello.
What's up, all you cool snakes and neonates? How's it going? I hope you guys are all keeping well. Good morning, sweetheart. You want to come and see Dad? Or you want to come and see your daddies? Come and see your daddies. Come on then, sweet Liliths. This is Lilith. Believe it or not, it's the year of the snake this year. Let's celebrate that with some snake goodness. What do you think, my Lils? Should we celebrate that with some snake goodness? I think so. In this episode, some of the snakes are going to get some much needed upgrades to their housing. We're going to unveil a brand new snake here in the Reptile Rich household, and we're going to check up on a couple of the other gems here in the Reptile Rich household, just like Lilith, our female Dummerels boa from Madagascar. Isn't she beautiful? She's an animal ambassador of ours. She goes to kids' parties and things like that. She's a really good snake, this one. We're going to pop her back. Let's have a look at some of the goings on.
Do you want another one?
So Hunter, our giant male Burmese python, he's about 12 foot long. He's a big boy. Unfortunately, as you guys know, he was in 6 foot by 3 foot before. Way too small for him. I was hating it. But because the housing situation and living situation that we're in just now is a bit uncertain, I couldn't give him a bigger house because we're looking at moving house and things like that. So I was putting off plans. And then Ruby, our female Suriname red-tail boa, fell ill. Unfortunately, at the point of filming this video, she was actually euthanized yesterday. But I'm going to do another episode on that because I don't want to make this is going to be a happy video. I don't want any sadness. So I'm going to do a quick update on what happened to Ruby, our female Suriname redtail, in a future video. Right now, we're concentrating on the happy things in the Reptile Rich room because that's what I really need right now, is some happiness. So we're going to talk about Hunter here. As you can see, this was Ruby's enclosure right here, but there's no wall between it. What I decided to do was to take these two 4 foots, so these are 4 by 2s by 2 or something like that, and I decided that I would make this frame for the middle, build up this frame, remove the 2 walls between them to create one giant viv. Alright, so frame's in place, vivs are bolted together, vivs have been cleaned, disinfected, glass has been cleaned and stuff like that. So let's get some substrate in there and get the big lad in. So the viv's built up very minimal right now. There's literally just a water bowl in there for him and his substrate. You guys know me, I like to make my vivs look pretty, so eventually we are going to get some branches and some niceness in there for him to at least make it a bit more aesthetically pleasing for us and a bit more interesting for him. So now we're going to pull him out of this viv, pop him into this viv here. Now this is going to be a temporary enclosure. This is not going to be a forever home for him. It's just a step up that we can give him at this moment in time. Alright, son. Come on, junkie man. Bump him round this side. And up. And in. To this side. Whoa. Woo. He's a big boy. You're not making that easy for me, son, are you? Eh? He's okay. You're okay. You're a good boy. In you go. He's in! Easy as that. And there he is. Checking it out. Straight to the heat lamp. Leave that alone, son. That is him in there. It's a little bit better. He's definitely going to be able to stretch out. Having a 10-foot python in a 6 by 3 viv was not ideal. Even having him in this 8-foot viv is not ideal, but it's going to be a bit better for him, and it will do until he can be moved into a bigger viv when either we open our own zoo or we move house and have more space to give him. But yeah, that's already looking
a lot better for him in there space-wise. Already a lot more room for him to stretch out. Much happier with that. So yeah, bare minimal, but we'll get some stuff in there to keep him occupied.
Now, what happened to his old enclosure after Hunter here was moved up into this giant 8-foot enclosure? Let's have a look.
Do you want another one?
The handsome Mordecai went in it. And isn't he handsome? Will also donated this Arcadia LED forest light to us. Let's put it into Mordecai's new Viv. It should help make his colours pop. Hooey! Now that is a bright light. Let's see what he looks like in there. And that's him in. Would you look at that rainbow on that tail? Woo! He is popping under that light, as we thought. Are you a handsome boy? Are you a handsome big Mordecai's? Yes, you are. You're a handsome boy. There he is. Massive palace for him. That is ideal. If I can help it, that will be his forever home in there. Nice big basking shelf under the heat radiator. Shelf also creates a hide. It's got his usual water bowl in there. I need to finish topping up the bedding because I've just been transporting the bedding from old Vivs down to the new Vivs and whatnot. So they've had a top up as well. There's a fresh cocoa brick, so all the animals have had a top up of fresh bedding on top of their old stuff as well, and a good clean out and stuff. So they're all nice and clean. All the Vivs were disinfected thoroughly between each animal, so there's no transportation of any illnesses, although most of these animals have been in this house at least 5 years, so if there was any illnesses, I would imagine they would have been passed around by now, especially with them doing educational talks and being transported between houses and in the same pillowcases and all that kind of stuff. So they're all good animals. They're all very healthy. Look at his man on his tail. That always reminds me of the boogeyman off of Jack Skellington. But yeah, he's got a man on his tail. Mordecai with his man. But how handsome is that snake? And whew, very pretty in there. As you can see, everything is an absolute building site in here. It's crazy. I'm doing one animal at a time, and I've still got a lot of work to do. I've been at this all day.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been on non-stop all day and I can't be bothered.
Look at this. Oh, did you get a fright on Dad's beard, son? Look at this gorgeous big man. A couple of you guys have been in one of his old videos commenting, asking for updates on our beautiful Mordecai here, her male Suriname red-tailed boa. He is doing amazingly. He is doing wonderfully. He is such a perfect example of the breed. Wonderful snake. He's got a bit of substrate stuck in his bum. That better? That better? There you go. He had a bit of substrate stuck in his bum. That's his update. Still has his knobby tail. Don't pull the tarantulas down. Still has a bit of a knobby tail. He will always have that from the layers of stuck shed he had on him. If you guys will remember from one of the old videos, he had so many layers of stuck shed, it stunted his growth, and that's why he has that knobby tail. He'll always have that from now on. Where are you going? You're being an absolute handful today, aren't you? He's a big healthy boy, he's a big solid lump. He's actually been to a few parties this winter, filling in for Hunter when he's too grumpy to be used for our educational shows and things like that. Our boy Mordecai here is a nuisance when he's at those things. He's a bit of a pain in the bottom, just like he's being now, but he's doing wonderfully. Look at that beautiful tail. Now, of course, the red tail actually fades out as they get older, but as you can see, his red tail is just looking gorgeous. Look at that for a red tail. Now, the brighter light in his enclosure will help his colours out. That bright light that we got from our friend Will.
Do you have a cheese plant?
Yes, Will. There is my cheese plant. I do have one. So that brighter light that we have there in there will help his colours, especially with the brighter enclosure and things like that. It's actually crazy bright. It's blinding sometimes when you're looking at it, or when you turn it on, you're like, whoa, that's bright. But those things will help his colours and will help that red tail stay a bit more red and a bit more vibrant and things like that. But as you can see, he's wonderful. He really is. I mean, you're not supposed to have favourites amongst your kids. This guy here is my favourite. This is my favourite man of all of the animals we have. Mordecai here. He's my favourite son, aren't you? Eh? He's just such a big friendly lump. I mean, most of the animals here are all big friendly lumps. There are a couple of exceptions, especially when it comes to feeding and things like that. But this guy here is just wonderful. He's an absolute gem of a snake. So your true red-tail boas come from South America. In particular, this is a Suriname red-tailed boa, so he comes from either Suriname or Guyana, that sort of area. You get Guyana red-tails and Suriname red-tails. It really just depends which port they've been sent from, really. They're neighbouring countries, they're neighbouring states, and a snake doesn't see a border and not cross it. So this guy came from Suriname, from South America, of course, aren't you? What are you doing? Are you looking at Lilith? Are you going to go and have a little look at Lilith? Got a nice big healthy block head on him. His body's a nice loaf of bread shape. He's a perfect example of a true red-tailed boa, is our Mordecai. He's about fully grown, about 6 or 7 foot. Hopefully that house that he's in now will be his forever home. Your Uncle Will has a question for you.
Do you have a cheese plant?
He says he doesn't need a cheese plant, Will. And this here is our newest addition. Meet Oreo. Now Oreo is a very special snake. Oreo was actually, just like the light from Mordecai's Viv, and quite a few of the other animals recently, was gifted to us by my friend Will.
Do you want another one?
Now there's a couple of reasons this is a very special animal. The main one being a personal reason. As you guys probably remember, we lost our girl Aurora. It was a female IMG boa that was gifted to us by my good friend Will. I fell in love with that snake, head over heels. She will never ever be replaced. However, this is a sibling to Aurora. That's right, after Aurora passed, Will messaged me and he said, we have 2 holdbacks from the litter. And he asked me if I wanted his personal holdback, which is Oreo here. Of course, I gave myself a while to get over Aurora because we don't replace animals here at all. But Will's thinking was he wanted you guys to still be able to see the change and the growth of an IMG boa and see them changing colour over time, because every time this snake sheds, she'll get darker and darker. Now, as you can already see, she is a lot darker than Aurora was. She still does have some pattern in there, but she's quite a bit further down that metamorphosis into that change into being a fully black snake. However, she gets the name Oreo. She's never going to be fully black, because have a look at that belly. She's got a white belly. Now, an interesting thing with the IMG gene is not only does it darken out any other colours, but weirdly, white seems to get stronger within the IMG. So anything that's pure white will stay and get brighter. So you see those whites down her tail there, those are probably going to stay forever, and they're just going to be a nice bright white, breaking up that solid black pattern. And as you can see, she's showing you there, are you a good little poser? Are you a good wee performer? As you can see with that chin right there, she's got a bright white chin. So this is Oreo, our female IMG boa. Now, just like Aurora, I also do plan on eventually putting this little sweetheart with my old male boa, my male imperator, Marley. Because I've had Marley for about 16 years, and I would like, when Marley passes away, to have a youngster of his. I have a piece of Marley still left in this world. So this little girl here will hopefully be a future girlfriend for our old boy Marley. She's wonderful, she's doing great, she's been smashing food, she's had a couple of sheds with us. She's had quite a few meals with us. She's doing wonderfully. Her personality is very different to Aurora. Aurora was very confident. She was very cheeky. This girl here, a little bit more timid. She's coming out of her shell quite a bit, as you can see. She's investigating a lot more. You investigating, but Aurora and Oreo have 2 very different personalities. Even though they're same parents, same species, all that kind of stuff, they still all have individuality and they still have their own little personalities. This little girl here is just wonderful. She's a great wee lass, aren't she? She's absolutely stunning. She's a beautiful girl. Now, she's got Sonoran in her bloodline, so she won't get too big. She won't be a massive female. She's probably not even going to get as big as Marley, my male imperator, who I believe to be of sort of Mexican origins with the reds in his coloration. Red boas that come from the Mexico region seem to be a bit more red in coloration. So he's more of a mainland boa, whereas these guys are a bit more of a smaller species, the Sonoran sort of island boas. As we've talked about before with Gimli, our super dwarf reticulated python. The island animals tend to be a bit smaller than your more mainland animals. So yeah, this is Oreo, our female boa imperator. Or not so common boa. She's gorgeous though, she's absolutely beautiful is this girl. Aren't you? You're a sweetheart too.
You want another one?
And speaking of Marley, who's in Mordecai's old enclosure, I hear you ask? Well, it's old man Marley, of course. He got an upgrade back from that 4 foot into this 6 foot. He's been in and out of this 6 foot quite a lot over the past few years. Hopefully that's him permanently back in it now. He's loving this 6 foot. Of course, he's got the new branch for him to climb on and things like that. He's got his big hide in there because we like him to have that big hide. Our boy's getting older, so we like him to have all the luxuries. He's got the natural UV lighting. As you can see, brings out the rainbow in his colours really nicely. But he's got everything that we try and give him the best life possible. We try and give all of our snakes the best life possible, especially our older boys here, like Marley, our male common boa, who, like I said earlier, I believe possibly is of Mexican bloodline simply because of all the reds and salmons and things in them. Those boas tend to be a bit more red in coloration. He's a handsome old man. So just to recap, we took Hunter here, our big Burmese python. We pulled him out of here, and now Mordecai, our male Suriname, lives in here. Shelby, our female falsie, still lives in there. Mordecai came out of the 4 foot, and he went into here. Apparently I've still left that glass open. But he went into here, which is where Mordecai came out of. So he's in a nice big 6 foot again. And now our boy Hunter is in this bigger 8 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot enclosure. Still want to give him bigger. I still believe this is too small for him, but it's a little bit of a step in the right direction to make him a bit more comfortable until we can get settled housing wise and we can get him into the giant enclosure that he deserves. As you guys know, I've been talking about that for some time now, so it's definitely in the cards. We need to make this happen. If you want to help make it happen, as always, in the description below there's a donation button. You can jump into PayPal, make a one-off donation to the channel to help towards building more beautiful big enclosures for these guys right here. So we've had a bit of a shift around. I don't know if you've noticed, but the background's a little bit more different too. Got a few of my little side hobbies, Lord of the Rings, Hot Wheels, Pokemon cards, all that sort of stuff sitting up there too. Just something a bit nicer for you guys to look at rather than a white backdrop. Swords Law will probably move out of here soon and that'll disappear, but it looks a bit nicer. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Don't forget, don't send me things unless you want them on the YouTube channel.
In fact, I just had a thought. I shouldn't be sending you videos because you take snippets for them and put them into your videos.
And also, don't forget to comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell button. You can subscribe through my ugly mug right there. There'll be a playlist for you up there under random videos selected for you down there. From me, Oreo, and the rest of the gang. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.